Welcome back to the Rolling Grind here, RotoGrinders. This is Dean. That's Dean 7904 if you want to get all technical on me. I was going to say I'm filling in for Stevie once again, which I've been saying for the past so many months. But I kind of sort of am filling in for Stevie. But I'm also joined today by, you guessed it, it's Stevie. StevieTPFL. Well, welcome back to your podcast.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been on the other end of the intro, so it was fun.
I haven't been doing that intro, but for what it's worth, and I have been saying, I think I want to say pretty much every single pod I've done for the last so many months it's been. Yeah, I'm filling in for Stevie. He'll be back soon enough. He's knocking out his NASCAR content, and I genuinely just don't know when you're going to be back. I'm not sure. It's going to be happening soon. You know, of course, quote unquote. I don't want to say real sports because I'm sure you'll be insulted. You're doing your your NASCAR coverage. You're doing your CSGO coverage. The main sports, I guess we can say, I suppose, are coming back. Baseball, of course, later on this week. And that said, Stevie, you're going to be back. I'm done in just a couple more days. You're going to be back with Thursday. Is that correct?
Yep, back on Thursday to get started for baseball.
Yeah, Thursday. It's they have monster contests out there ready for what it's worth. And I'm sure you'll talk about it more on Thursday. It's a 2-gamer. Off the dome, I believe it's Washington versus the Yankees, and the Dodgers versus the Giants. And Stevie, I'm no Jamino over here. I'm no ownership projection du jour. But I'm going to tell you, Giants going to be under-owned. People are not going to play the Giants.
But here's the thing, right? Like, shouldn't we just – I don't know. We'll talk more about this on Thursday and Friday. Yeah. But, like, for me, when it comes to baseball this year is, like, I'm going to be loading up on hitters. Like, this is a really short season for pitchers, and they didn't get their normal spring training type of work. And I feel like we're just going to see a lot of offense. So, yeah, I think, like, that's just how I'm going to kind of approach this season when it comes to, stacking and stuff. It's going to be who can I kind of fit in at pitching and just as many bats as I can.
Yeah, it's going to be weird because 30-man roster at the start of the season, and I imagine the bullpens are going to be loaded up too to some degree. So I think that the big starters are going to be leaned on more heavily, but I also think like the 3, 4s, and 5s are going to be get hooked earlier. That's sort of my thought process in that, but I don't know why I kind of mentioned that. I did want to mention you're going to be back. Welcome you back, and the people to know you'll be back then. And, of course, you'll still be doing your NASCAR content out there. And, well, where have you been, Stevie? You have been. I have been lying to the people, right? You've definitely been. And I've scrolled through your Twitter as well. You've been knocking out the NASCAR content. How's that going for you?
Yeah, NASCAR has been super busy. Since it's come back, it feels like we have like 4 to 5 races a week, and like it typically takes me like 20 to 30 hours to do one race for Cup anyway, and then we've had like 2 Cup races a week for a few weeks, and it's been overwhelming. So, like, super, super awesome that you've been able to kind of fill in here and do that. And, I'm still doing, like, CSGO content too. So, like, breakdowns for baseball and stuff, we know we know a lot of the stats. We've been doing it for years. And you get into the CSGO stuff and, like, these guys, but, like, there's 7 different maps and, like, how they perform against certain teams. And, like, breakdowns sometimes take, like, 3-4 hours. It's been a lot of that. So definitely excited for baseball to come back. But NASCAR's been fun, man. It's been crazy without practices and not having fans in the stands, but it's just nice to have it back and, to be able to watch races.
Now, when you say practices, is that how they figure out – I'm a noob when it comes to NASCAR. I know very little about it. And that's kind of been something I've been comfortable talking about sports that I don't know a lot about, because on this podcast I've been talking about some golf with some experts and talking about some MMA. So let's talk NASCAR briefly, I suppose. It's my understanding that they have qualifying, right? And that's how they determine like how they start the race, first, second, third, depending on the qualifying. Are they not doing qualifying?
No qualifying. So what they're doing is owners points 1 through 12 get randomly drawn. They have like the old bingo system where the ball like drops and like that's the number the guy starts. So 1 through 12, 13 through 25 or 24. And then 25 through 36, and then the 4 drivers that are highest in points that are not charter teams get 37th through 40th.
All right, there you go. Seems fair enough. And I should say, thank you for letting me take over your spot here temporarily and keep the seat warm for you. And thanks to everybody who joined me. I had a lot of people join me over the last few months or so. Chopper, Emac, Ricky Sanders, Tyler Tambo, we welcomed him, Roth, Fast Eddie Fear, Cardi. It's a whole slew of people, and the list is too long. But I thank everybody for jumping in here. And Sun Tzu Zhou for talking to MMA as well. Just he was here basically weekly. I got an MMA. I've kind of enjoyed that. Golf. I had 6 of 6 this weekend, Stephen. I think this was the week of not to have 6 of 6 because I'm fairly certain my guys went backwards on Sunday. I don't know if you're paying attention to golf much or you care much for golf, but I'm still tilting, I guess, from yesterday. It's still, I don't know why I'm mentioning it to you. I don't know why you care, but it's still in my brain.
Yeah, like I played the 10-year free roll. And my top scoring team had someone that didn't make the cut. So
yeah,
so there's that.
Yeah, so RG recently put out a tweet and they said, "Hey, it's 10 years, 10-year celebration and all that." And you, I was on your Twitter. You're talking about like you were here for all 10 years. Now, have you been a contributor for 10 years? You've been a member for all 10 years? Because I'm close, probably. I'm probably around 7 or 8, give or take. I haven't done the math on it. But are you officially like you were one of the first man in? Were you one of the first people actually working for RG?
Yeah, I joined RG in November of 2010. Just kind of found it. Honestly, I think I found it through the FanDuel chat room. So yeah, I don't know if you remember the old FanDuel chat days. But like
Chipper Jones, dong.
Yeah, so like I joined FanDuel in 2009, so I've been around a while. So, but yeah, I think my first like blog on RG was like 3 years in. So it was a baseball blog. It was written in July of 2014. So there you go.
Okay, so for those that don't remember, tell the people what FanDuel chat was like.
Oh man, it was awful. It was so bad. Like, okay, so the beginning years of FanDuel chat was fine. Like you could get some contests in there and, it was sports talk and it wasn't bad. But, towards the end of FanDuel chat, it was awful. It was just waste of your time.
And how somebody from RG, like Cal, Cam, Dan, that somebody just kind of you were talking to them randomly in the chat, or they just kind of discovered you, or did you do a Google search? How did you find RG? How did they find you?
Oh, dude, I don't remember. It was so long ago. I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. No, honestly, like I don't remember how I joined. I remember like how I got involved with the site was like just I was posting on the forums and stuff, and like they asked me like if I could just maybe become a moderator, and like so I started doing that, and then my first blog was a pitching blog. And they liked it a lot. And like after 2 or 3 of them, like I started writing premium content, and the rest is history.
You were a pitcher yourself, right?
Yep.
Who's your comp?
Oh no, I had like a moving fastball with a 12-6 curveball. So I don't know who really comps to that.
Lefty, righty?
Righty.
Yeah,
I had a back action fastball. That's why it was so good. Probably why I tore my rotator cuff 3 times too.
So you pitched in high school. Did you pitch in college as well, or you got hurt before then?
I got hurt before college. I was rehabbing to play again. Got hurt. Wasn't going to play again, and then got contacted. Was working out for a team, and then got hurt again. So it was a long like 5 or 6 year process. The last time I got hurt. Like a week after I got hurt, I found out my fiance at the time was pregnant with my daughter, and just I never got it fixed after that last time. Like it still hurts today if I sleep on it weird.
Can you throw a baseball now, or I guess you can do it and it'll hurt later, that kind of thing?
So when my daughter was playing t-ball and stuff, like I helped out coach, and like I would toss the ball around, and like I would cry the next morning. Like it still hurts. So. I'll eventually get it fixed. It just hasn't been like a huge priority. I have a son now too, and like if he's into baseball, maybe I'll get it fixed to help him out and stuff. But like my daughter loves to golf, and I can golf without it hurting. So,
how much fun is it to play t-ball and golf with your daughter? That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, like t-ball wasn't fun. T-ball was fun when she started doing like coach pitch and stuff. Like she just wasn't into it, so like it wasn't fun for me. Because I'm super competitive. But yeah, like golf, my daughter is really good at golf. When she actually like puts in the time and stuff, she's really good for being 8 years old. She started playing golf when she was 4. So she's actually really good at golf. So she works with it's a program called U.S. Kids Golf. It's all around the country, and we have the course that we live on has one of the top 50 coaches in the United States. So she gets to work with one of the cool coaches and stuff. So she loves it. The coach makes it fun. They just got done with a 6-week class, like a tournament where they played a scramble, 2-man tournament, like scramble every Friday night for like 6 to 9 holes, and they ended up finishing tied for second. So they did really well.
Nice. And I mean, nothing else, she probably enjoys getting out of the house these days. I know you're up there in you're still in Florida, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Orlando area, more or less?
Yeah, in between Orlando and Daytona.
Did she ever get to see Dude Perfect? I watched that video on Twitter. It was really sweet.
Oh, man.
But I feel like that probably didn't happen.
They postponed it to 2021. So she's really bummed. She's still excited that she gets to go, but she's really bummed. Like that conversation wasn't fun. That was probably one of the hardest conversations I've had since the pandemic happened. And like, just she's young. Like she had to do schooling from home to finish the year and stuff. So like she gets a little bit of it, but she doesn't get when you have a conversation like, hey, the thing that you have hanging on your wall that you're super excited about is not happening until next year now. Like that wasn't fun.
Well, I'm sure like even like explaining what's going on is probably hard enough. Like I don't even know how do you do that? I don't have any kids, so I don't. That's not my job. I don't know how to handle that. But I don't know. How do you explain to a kid like what's going on in the current situation?
It wasn't too hard. Like I said, she's 8, so she kind of gets it. Like, hey, there's this thing going around. It's like kind of like a sickness. Like you can't touch stuff. Like we're pretty safe about it, to be honest. Like I'm one of those people, like we don't really go out unless we need to. Like we go on bike rides and walks around like the neighborhood to get outside, go play golf. But like going to the store, like my wife is breastfeeding our son still. So like I'm the only one that goes to the store really. And like as far as like eating out, like we Uber Eats almost everything right now, or we go pick it up, and we've had picnics at like the parks and stuff like that. Like there's no like in dining or anything like that for us right now. So we're just my stepmom's super high risk. My mother-in-law is super high risk. So it's just, you have to be considerate about that stuff.
Hey, Dude Perfect. Those are the guys that do like crazy trick shots, right?
Yeah, those guys are awesome, man. They're awesome. I've met them
They do them live? Like it's a live trick shot show?
They're like live shows. They do all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure what they did. I mean, if it was like they showed videos or whatever, but I imagine they try to perform stunts live as well. You said you met them as well?
Yeah, I met them at Bristol at a race. They were there for Bass Pro Shop, so I get to meet some of the guys in Victory Lane. It was cool.
You got some pretty sweet perks, with you have, what is it, a NASCAR media pass, right?
Yeah, it's a NASCAR hard card for media. So, there's been a lot of fun things that I've gotten to do with NASCAR.
Such as, like, I'm sure meeting a lot of people, and I know you're in the media room, the media scrum and all that. Do you ask questions? Do you partake? You just sit there and listen? And I know there was a video that went around not too long ago on RG about you were asking DFS-related questions, and a lot of the drivers seem to be, like, aware of it. And they seem to embrace it, which is cool to see. Was that your general experience?
Yeah, I'd say 4 years ago. I would say the drivers, they weren't really up and up. A lot of the drivers weren't up and up with like fantasy and like sports betting and stuff. But like you ask them questions now, they're very aware of everything when it comes to fantasy and sports betting. NASCAR has like rules in place when it comes to like sports betting and stuff. So like these guys have definitely like done their research and they know what they cannot say and stuff like that. So like it's changed a lot in the last 4 years, as far as that kind of stuff. But yeah, I've gotten to do a bunch of cool stuff when it comes to NASCAR. I was trying to think, like, my favorite person that I've met is like a childhood, like bucket list dream person. That was Ken Griffey.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, one of the coolest things I ever got to do was probably going around Bristol with Darrell Waltrip in the pace car. Like, he's like hey, look at how the G-forces feel at like 110 up close to the wall. So yeah, that was probably the scariest thing that I've done with NASCAR, but the coolest thing I've done as well.
So, like, you're riding shotgun with Waltrip? Is that what's happening there?
Yeah, I rode shotgun with Darrell Waltrip in a souped-up Camaro around Bristol.
And he's going 110. How fast can he go?
That was the max. Like,
Okay.
that's a lot for that car at that racetrack.
There are rules in play, I suppose. Griffey, was he like the gentleman start your engines? What do they call that? The honorary.
He did something at Bristol a few years ago. And like he came in the media center for a interview, and it was like in between times of like something that was going on, so there wasn't a ton of people in there. So I totally went up and I talked to him. I got a photo with him. Like, this is a dude that like I grew up playing baseball. He was the dude, and like I had to meet Griffey. Like, I don't even care if like my passes got taken away or something. Like, I was meeting Griffey there.
You're breaking code there. You're a media member. You're not.
I didn't care, Dean. Like when Chipper Jones came in and stuff, it was like, oh, it's Chipper Jones. I've met him many times because he's from this area, and he did a bunch of stuff with like little leagues and stuff. But when I met Griffey, it was like, I don't care, I'm doing it.
Do you remember what you said to him? Anything goofy, anything silly, or you're perfectly just saying, let's take a picture and I'll leave you alone?
No, I just told him he was my childhood hero, pretty much. Like, I just let him know, like, I pictured my game after him and loved the way that he played the game.
Prettiest swing in baseball, right?
Not even like he had the prettiest swing baseball, and like it was just more of like he didn't take plays off. That's what I loved about Ken Griffey. Like, he took back so many home runs and stuff like that just because he didn't take plays off.
Why was he your guy? He's out there in Seattle. You're not a Seattle guy, but you just like the way he played, I guess.
My dad was a huge Cincinnati Reds fan, so
okay.
So when Griffey played for Cincinnati, like it just kind of became a thing. Like, my baseball teams were always like Cincinnati when I was growing up, because my dad was a huge Reds fan, which made no sense. Still doesn't make any sense to this day. I guess he's a huge Johnny Bench and Pete Rose fan. So
okay,
well,
yeah, that's.
I don't know how to translate. I like the Red Sox because of Jason Varitek, so I get it.
I just remember, like, I think it's the coolest story. You mentioned your father. You mentioned the Reds. You mentioned Ken Griffey Jr. Like, him and his father hit home runs in the same inning in the same game. Which is like, I don't think anybody's ever done it before, or probably is never going to happen again. How cool is that?
No, that's cool, man. Like, maybe Vlad to get a bat again, and like he can hit a home run at the same time as his son. Like, he hits everything. So,
yeah, I don't. Maybe LeBron and his kid are going to play together like in 5 years or something like that. But that's a whole, I guess, a different conversation. But it's just such a cool thing to have a. That's what I think of Griffey, and I also think of. I don't know. I don't want to say his career was disappointing. It certainly wasn't, but it feels like it could have been even more impressive if he didn't get hurt. And his numbers are still amazing.
He could have hit so many home runs. Like, he would have hit so many home runs if he didn't get hurt.
And he still ended up with, I think, somewhere around 600 or so, 5 and change. I don't know. It's a lot. He had a lot of homers. And we were talking about sports cards right before the show. You had to have the Ken Griffey Jr. #1 Upper Deck card, 1989, right?
Yes, I have a few of them.
I assume so.
No, I have a few of them.
So NASCAR wasn't a thing for DFS until like what, 3-4 years ago? You probably know better than me.
It was like 5 or 6 years ago now. It's been a while now.
And
I think it's 5 years ago.
You before you became the NASCAR guru and all that. You were into racing as is, and I think I'm pretty sure you raced yourself, or you raced in the past. Don't you have personal racing history as well?
So my dad owns a dirt team. Did till like about 2 years ago. So growing up, like, I was always out at the racetrack. My dad's been racing since I was a kid. So racing is just kind of something like my grandfather raced. So like it's been something that's been in my family for a long time. And I've been going to Daytona since I was like 4 or 5 years old. I know you're a movie guy. Like, I was in the crowd for Days of Thunder. Like, my dad has photos of like us sitting in the crowd for Days of Thunder. So
cool trickles.
Yeah. Like, I love racing. I've always loved racing. Like, it was always a thing. Like, I played travel baseball, and when we get home on Sundays, it would be like me and my dad's thing would be to sit down and watch the race. So like, it's just been something that has always been really fun to, be involved in. And like now, like with everything that's going on as far as like DFS NASCAR, it's changed the way that I look at NASCAR for sure. I look at it more like from the analytics side of things, but
Has
I
it
still have
ruined
my
it to some
favorite
degree?
drivers.
Is it
No,
just
like
yeah, go ahead.
I still have my favorite guy. Like I have my favorite drivers. Like, and it's just like, it's just different how you look at it now. That's all. Like, has it changed? Yes, but it doesn't mean like, for me, it doesn't mean like, I look at it and you're like, oh, I can't stand it now.
How do you pick a favorite driver? You just like their style? You like their personality? How do they even show personality as they're driving?
Well, see, like Tony Stewart was my favorite growing up. Like he, was this guy that like just did whatever he wanted, and like he was the different guy. So like it was very easy for me to like Kyle Busch. Very different, very aggressive. I like aggressive guys. Like I want guys that like if they don't win, they're pissed off. Like
Ricky Bobby style.
Ricky Bobby style, yeah. Like, and Kyle Busch, like if he finished like fourth or fifth, he's pissed, and I love that. Like, like I want my favorite guy to win. Like, and so it was very easy for me to like Kyle Busch. I've liked him for a long time now.
Is he the divisive one? I know one of the Bushes like people don't like or people either love or hate. Is that the one?
Oh
or is
yeah,
it
it's
Kurt
Kyle.
Busch?
It's Kyle.
Okay. Well, so why do people not like him?
Because he wins too much.
I genuinely don't know. I know the
no,
name,
like that.
I don't know the
That's
personalities.
100. That's 100% the reason. He races some of the. Like he owns a truck team, so he runs 5 truck races a year, which is he's allowed to do, and he wins a lot of those races, and it pisses people off. And then he runs Xfinity races for sponsors and stuff for Joe Gibbs, and he wants 100 wins in the Xfinity series. Like he's the all-time leading winner, and he's at 98. So like he said, when he gets to 100, he's done running those races, but like he just wins too much and it makes people mad.
I guess he's really expensive in DFS as well.
Yeah, he was 17,000 in Xfinity this weekend, so very expensive. But yeah, like no, I just always like Kyle. I think he's awesome. He's not winning a lot this year. Like no practices. He's been the one that's hurt the most.
But like 7 years ago, when DFS was a thing, or for other sports, but it wasn't a thing for NASCAR. I'm sure you must have thought like, man, it would be amazing if NASCAR became a thing, and you probably envisioned like, okay, if it becomes a thing, it's going to be so popular, a certain level of popularity. But could you have foreseen? And obviously, I imagine with all the other sports kind of halting right now, there's a milli maker for NASCAR. At least there has been a milli maker for NASCAR, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like that went down not too long ago. Did you foresee it getting as big as it got?
There was $1 million tournament, not officially a milli maker though.
Okay.
It was the big. We've had the biggest tournaments we've ever had for NASCAR. I always thought it could be huge. Like they've run big tournaments for Daytona in the past, and like they fill out 3, 4 hours, 5 hours early sometimes. So I always thought that it could be huge. Back when we didn't have it, like I played in some like Yahoo season long leagues. I played in a high dollar league, and then I played with some friends and stuff. So like I always thought like Yahoo's like season long NASCAR was huge, and I always thought that like if we had DFS for it, it could be big. I feel like DFS NASCAR for the last few years has been bigger than like DFS hockey. It just like now these tournaments are going to go down. They're not going to stay at $750,000 to $1 million a week. We see like already like this week there's a Thursday race this week, which is the same day as opening for baseball, and the tournament's 400,000. So already starting to see like a huge hit. I think like if they continue to push it though, I think they can keep these tournaments pretty big for now.
Yeah, I mean 400K is still a pretty good chunk of change as well.
It's a great tournament.
Is there also a tournament on Sunday or no?
No, there's no race Sunday. Like I get a Sunday off. Like I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself.
What are you going to do? Yeah.
My wife probably has a million things for me to do. Garage needs to be cleaned. Yeah, there's probably she's probably already started a list. So yeah, she talked about going to the beach. So something like that.
I've dabbled a little bit in NASCAR. Not a lot, a little bit. Tell me, and I'm one of those people I like to kind of keep an eye on my currently winning, like, just when I'm playing DFS and, I want to check in every half hour, every hour, whatever it is when I have a chance. What's the best way to sweat NASCAR? Because when I look at the currently winning in NASCAR, it's just screwing with me. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you can't look until the end. Like I honestly don't open DraftKings and FanDuel until like lap with like 20 to go just to get an idea where I'm at. I'll peek every once in a while, but like I don't really like, okay, this team is legit. It has a shot until like 20 laps to go or something like that. Because like honestly, what I'm sweating is I'm sweating like the guys that I wreck, how much percentage I had to those guys, and who's leading the laps. Like that's what I'm really sweating when it comes to NASCAR. Like yesterday, Ryan Blaney dominated the race, and like I know he was my highest owned. So like I knew like it was gonna be a good day. So and then Austin Dillon won the race, and he was one of my highest owned value plays. So, like, I knew it was going to be a good day. I didn't even need to look.
Take a victory lap. Was it a good day? I hope it was.
It was a good day. It wasn't a great day. It was a good day. Couple grand. Like, I'm not going to be mad about those days. It wasn't like a 100K day. Like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, like an amazing day. Like I didn't win any tournaments or anything. Like I was really close to like sweeping cash games across the board on both sides. Yeah, it
wasn't screenshot life worthy necessarily.
No, I don't.
Life worthy. Well, what's the official number? Because I've heard people say it's got to be at least 5 figures. It's got to be a certain ROI. Well, what are the official rules of screenshot life?
I usually don't screenshot. Like I let people screenshot for me. Like there's so many people that do well and like tweet me. Like I don't need to like tweet. Like I post my cash lineups in Discord right after the lock happens. So like people know who I play. I post my percentages in Discord. Like I don't need to like, if you read my content and stuff, you know who I'm on. Like I'm that type of person. Like I don't need to screenshot stuff. Like if I have like a 50K day, I'll screenshot. If I have like a $10,000 day, maybe I'll screenshot. But yeah, for the most part, I don't screenshot.
How much fun is that when somebody wins like 40K or 100K? I mean, obviously you want to win, but it's got to be kind of cool and rewarding as well too to know that your content, when they say, thanks to your content, thanks to steering me in the right direction, yada yada yada, you help me, win 6 figures or 40K or 50K. And no, you're getting $0 out of that, of course, outside of the subs, obviously, but that's got to be cool and rewarding and like fun, if nothing else. I don't get that nearly as much as you do because but it's always nice to hear.
Yeah, it's nice to hear, man. Like I'm not gonna like it. It's something like that, will brighten up a day. That like if you're having a bad day, whether it be at home or whatever, like your kid driving you nuts or anything like that. Like so, just to get like, hey man, you helped me out. Like it's cool. Like it makes you feel good. Like it makes you feel like you're on the right page, right track. Like there's weeks where I take big stands on drivers and they'll wreck, and like my subs don't always take big stands, so like they'll have good weeks just because like they're on some of the other guys. So it's nice. It's good to see like that I'm helping people. I think it's awesome. Like at the end of the day, people are subscribing because they think that like they're gonna do good, and like I like to see those people do good.
What about the inverse of that? Like, meanest tweet? What's the meanest tweet you ever got?
Oh man, like,
is there a few over your head?
I'd have to go back and look. Like, I get some tweets sometimes where it's just like, all right, moving on. Like, they don't bother me anymore, Dean. Like, I've been doing this for so long now. Like 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, like I used to get those tweets and I would fight with people on Twitter. Like, I just don't do that anymore.
Just because that's going nowhere, and what's the point, and all that, or I mean,
you're getting 50 good tweets and you're getting one bad tweet. Why are you going to fight with the one guy that you're getting the bad tweet from?
That's a great way of looking at it, but sometimes that's not the way. Like it's not that easy to do because it's like, well, why doesn't this one person get it? But that's a great attitude to have.
At the end of the day, like I know when I put out content, I'm following my own content and I'm trying to help people as much as I can. And at the end of the day, like if people want to be mad, they're going to be mad.
Yeah, and accountability is obviously important, and like showing what you do. And like you said, you show your cash lineup, you show everything you do, and it's pretty open. It's pretty open what you're putting out there, and you've been doing it for so many years. At this point, if it was some kind of a racket of some sort, I think you would have been called out on it and justified. Maybe it's just like legit good content. Why can people not just believe that that's possible? I guess that's not fun to say. Where's the story in that?
If anybody wants to call me out, that's fine. Let them call me out. They can. I owe some money to the IRS right now because my taxes were messed up. So like, I'll just let them pay that if they want to.
Did you not get in time? I just knocked mine out like last week or so.
No, it had nothing to do with that. It was it's from like 2018. There was some issues, and they sent me this thing, and like yeah. It's not fun. It's a lot of
No, it's
money.
not.
Not fun.
Well, you got to with all those zeros, man. There's all those commas and all those zeros. It's that math that it gets a little tricky. I've never
It's
been to a
not fun,
NASCAR race
Dean.
before. Well, you know what's worse? You know what's worse than that is like not filling out the IRS paperwork for winning DFS money. That's worse.
Yeah, that would be bad. No, so yeah, I knew what you were about to say. You said never been to a NASCAR race. There's supposed to be a Nashville race either next year or the year after, and I want to get all the RG guys out to a race.
That would be amazing. And like, what is the? I've seen it on TV. Obviously, but I've never really watched very long. So what's the benefit of being there? I guess the sounds are probably distinct and it's super loud. Obviously, like, what's the best perk of like being at the race? It doesn't
being at the race like that, getting to see everything. You have commercial breaks. You're only getting to see like, certain passes and stuff when they're doing it. Like on TV, like they have an agenda on TV. At the end of the day, like they want to, have certain parts of the race and stuff. So when you're there, you're seeing everything that's going on. Like you said, you're getting the noise, like. You're feeling the heat like that. Yesterday, we were talking about on TV yesterday. It was 140 degrees in the car, and like you're like, all right, that's hot. But like when you're at the track, you're like, all right, it's really hot. I can't imagine how hot it is inside the car. So there's a lot of benefits when it comes to like analysis and stuff too. Like I'm very good at breaking down and analyzing practice. I think like I'm one of the best at doing that. So like. It's definitely hurt not having practice this year, not being at the track. Like, I'll go out on pit road and I'll watch cars leave pit road and see if they have stickers on the bottom of their tires during practice and analyze, like, that run of practice, just to try to get any kind of edge for my subscribers as possible.
Yeah, I guess that's an edge. Any little edge you can get these days. Obviously, the edges have shrunk over the years. 2020, people are a lot sharper than they were like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. How did you discover what FanDuel in 2009? How did you even find it? Like a random Google search? I imagine you're somebody that played season-long sports and you kind of wandered into like, what's this DFS?
Yeah. I've always played season-long football and a lot of season-long baseball with some of my buddies, my dad's friends. So I don't remember exactly how I found FanDuel. It just kind of happened. And like – it changed so much than what it used to be back then. Like there was like this auto pick kind of like draft thing on FanDuel back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. Like if you pick this guy, the other guy would pick a guy. And like, it was very interesting. And like big tournaments back in the day were like $150, like, so yeah. It's obviously changed a lot. We look at a lot more stats and stuff and like, if I know now what I knew back then, like we would crush and, a lot of stuff back then was a lot of single entry stuff. So it's changed a lot, over the last, 11 years now.
Yeah. But speaking of season long, we have our season long RotoGrinders baseball draft tonight. You're picking 7th. I'm picking 6th. Who do you not want me to take? I'll take him. I'll leave you Drew Bauman. Yeah, that's your guy.
I don't know if I'm going to go pitch. I usually, so in the RotoGrinders league for baseball, I usually go pretty pitcher heavy, but I don't know if I want to go pitcher heavy this year. Like, I feel like the bats are where it's at, but it's tough to. I looked at it a little bit last night. Like, I think Trout, Yelich, and Acuna, Bellinger should be 4 of the top 5 picks.
Well, Trout, people are afraid to take. He's going like 15 right now. Because
if Trout is available at whatever pick I have, I think it's 7, I will take him.
I'm considering him at 6 because I know he's not going to come back to me because it's 14-team league. It's definitely not going to come back to me, and there's a risk-reward to it. And he can play 0 games. He can play 55 games. Of course, his wife is pregnant, and we're not really sure. And she's due to give birth in August, and he's talked about not wanting to miss that. And it's one of the big stories right now in season long. And I pulled up a draft from yesterday that some experts did, and he went in the very last pick of the first round on the turn for what it's worth. So people are afraid, but it's risk versus
I'm not passing up Trout at 7, like if he's available.
Yeah, I don't know what to do either. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to try to find some research on it, but I don't know. I don't know what to do with Mike Trout, but it's weird picking him, like taking a risk, picking a healthy Mike Trout at pick 6 or pick 7, whatever it may be. But Hey, so you made some live finals in FanDuel. Was that I think a DK as well too? I pulled up your RG page. A couple of them here at the Fantasy Aces live final as well too. Is that the one where you got to hit some baseballs?
Yeah, we had a home run derby at one of those
Did you
at
win
Angel
that?
Stadium. I did not win. I finished second.
Yeah, there was video of this on Twitter, and I believe, did you get gassed? Is that what happened? Because I think it was really hot out there.
Yeah, I got gassed. Like the guy that won was on something.
HGH, what was he on?
No, it was a joke. Brett Devine has video of it. I don't know if he still does. Like I have it somewhere.
Was Britt a finalist as well, or just
he was the guy from RG covering the event. But no, the first round, like I hit like second to last in the first round. Like Tommy G was the only person behind me, I'm pretty sure. And I needed I think 8 or 9 to be on the top of the board. And I hit whatever it needed to be on top of the board. And I stopped with 45 seconds. And then I was second in the second round. So or third, and it was a quick turnaround is what I'm getting at. And
you
I was
right away.
gassed.
You got no rest time. Yeah,
I was gassed, Dean. I'm an old man. I'm way overweight, and I was gassed. It was hot.
Were you hitting from the Angels batter's box, hitting the ball 350, or was
it was right. It was right behind the pitcher's mound.
Okay, that's still pretty far though.
Yeah, it was a decent amount. It was fun.
You hit the rock pile?
I did hit one in the rock pile, yes.
What was I guess Britt didn't get a chance to hit. I know Nicole was there as well too. What was Tommy like as far as hitting?
He did terrible. He talked so much junk.
No, really?
We had a side bet and I made some Tommy dollars. Yeah, he didn't do well. He had a couple off top of the fence, but he complained the next day about a blister, and yeah, it was fun.
I have so many follow-up questions, so we'll move on. What about the Playboy Mansion? You were there a couple times. What are your memories of the Playboy Mansion?
The best Playboy Mansion was the last one I qualified for. It was the FanDuel one. My wife actually went with me the last time I qualified, and we had a good time. Me and Tommy took a lot of money from Condia and beer pong. I stacked the Red Sox, and I think they scored one run that day. So, it wasn't a great tournament as far as that. But, we went and we did, the WB tour the next day and stuff like that. And she's, super into, movies and, she works in that industry. So, that was just one of my favorites. Santa Monica Pier was always fun when we went out there. But yeah,
Universal Studios, I guess. Is that where the WB tour is?
No, it's at WB.
Oh, the actual lot. Okay, Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
lot.
we went to the actual lot. It was a fun Uber trip, but we went to the actual lot. It was fun, man. It was a really good time. She's super into Harry Potter, and they have a lot of the Harry Potter stuff there. I like Batman. They have a lot of Batman stuff there. So that was just my favorite. I never was one of the ones that jump in the pool and stuff like that, or get in the grotto. Like I said, I'm an old man.
You weren't that old, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever it was. But
still old.
Yeah, well, we're
happily in a relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a little tricky. I probably don't want to get into it, but a little tricky bringing your girlfriend to the Playboy Mansion. There's probably a conversation to be had before you go. I don't know how that works, but
yeah, the first couple trips without her, she didn't really care. She knows the after parties were more fun. We went out with Mick Jester the night that he finished first, second, third, something like that.
He seems like a character. I don't know him very well.
He is very interesting. He's a very nice guy, but he his mind is you watch the ping pong, bing, 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 so a conversation with him goes all over the place.
He vocalizes it too. Whatever is in his mind, he just throws it out there.
Yes.
The little that I've heard of him. I saw him one of the live finals at least, and I think was he Player of the Year one time for at RotoGrinders, one of the RG parties? Yeah, and I think he gave a speech, and I was just like, yeah, this guy's brain is always working.
Yeah, he crushed basketball that year that he won Player of the Year. It was insane. It seemed like he won a tournament almost every night.
You mentioned him. You mentioned who was Condia's partner, by the way? You and Tommy beating in ping pong. You remember? Or no?
Lucor, Nick.
Oh, of course.
They're running buddy.
I should have guessed that. They're partners in all things, I suppose.
We okay, so Tommy ended up stacking the Red Sox too. That wasn't planned or anything like that. So like 2 hours into the tournament, we were going around trying to get anyone to play beer pong for money. And like they're the only ones that wanted to play. But it like we made a bunch of Condia dollars. It was like $5,000. So like we beat them a lot. It was fun.
At what point did he's like, well, maybe we're just not as good as you guys? Like they just couldn't figure that out?
Well, Tommy kept like talking him into it because he was like double or nothing. Like if you beat us this game, like it was insane. We were on fire. We played until the end of the tournament. Like Jeff Mans won that weekend. Him and Ted. So yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Like that one was fun. Yeah.
What about partying at the RG parties? I don't know who started the tradition. I guess it's not a tradition anymore because the parties aren't out in Vegas anymore. But were you? I feel like you're probably part of the Senor Frogs tradition.
Yeah. So I was the initial. Like we were part of the group of the initial Senior Frogs trip, and yeah, great memories. I have video of Dean dancing up on stage and dancing with Miss Noto and Kevin Roth's wife.
I would never do such things.
Yeah, so no, man, Senior Frogs is one of the reasons that like I miss going to Vegas for the RG parties. We had some really great times at Senior Frogs. I remember one of my favorite Vegas memories was building teams. Like we used to like go up and build teams. There was a bunch of us in the room. Like I think you joined us one. Yeah, you joined us one year because Kendall Wright. Me and Dean argued about Marcus Mariota and Kendall Wright for like 20 minutes. We had a $20 bet that Kendall Wright wouldn't score over 100 fantasy or 10 fantasy points.
I do remember this.
And he did it in like the first quarter and a half. And Dean ran up to me at the RG party and threw a $20 bill at me.
Yes, the dancing I cannot confirm. This I can 100% confirm. I don't know why I was so adamant that Kendall Wright was a terrible play. And like, yeah,
I made a bunch of money that weekend too. Marcus Mariota.
But it was like he had like one or two catches, like and like an 80-yard touchdown. But I guess that's all you need, obviously, to pay off that.
All you need.
Yeah,
it was like almost minimum salary. Like it was a fun argument. Like it was just one of those. Were you in the room when El Jefe won the college football, tournament too? Like he won a seat to a live final for college football in the room while we were.
No, I wasn't in the room for that, but I eventually showed up like at 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning where I know a bunch of guys were hanging out. I know Jefe was in there. You were in there. I don't remember who else was there. It's all kind of hazy to me. But
it was just fun because like you had these football rooms, like, and everybody was building like teams of these football rooms, and like everyone had their own opinion, so like nobody agreed on anything, and like everybody's making like 150 teams, and like it was just a lot of fun.
It wasn't a collusion room, but that's what people are like.
No, not a collusion room whatsoever. Very far from that. Yeah. I should have led with that. Yeah.
And just in case people are getting ideas that's not what was going on there. You want to go back and check the scores from like 6 years ago. Yeah.
No, none of us really agreed on anything. So yeah.
Yeah. Again, I don't know why I would have such strong feelings about Kendall Wright, but yeah, I totally erased that from my brain. I didn't know that happened, but thank you for reminding me that that happened. How do you juggle now as far as doing content and making lineups? How has that made it like more difficult? I suppose not that you choose what you're choosing for a reason, obviously, but as far as making lineups and giving content, and obviously if it's for NASCAR, it's like once a week. So, and I imagine like once the lineups are set, like as far as the positions, you can make lineups 4, 5, 6 hours in advance, and then not much changes. Or you tell me if things change.
So we get tech news now like an hour and a half before the race, so some stuff changes. Like Chase Elliott failed yesterday and had to start at the rear, and like he was one of my highest owned drivers. So honestly, like I'm not playing as much NASCAR as I have been in the last few years because I just don't have time. Like by the time I get done with content, like I started working on content this past weekend because it's fresh on Saturday around like 10 a.m. and I finished Sunday morning at like 6 a.m. So by the time I got done at 6, like I needed to sleep. Like I couldn't function anymore to even try to start building lineups. So I woke up a few hours before the race. I built some teams, and I'm still answering questions and stuff. I just honestly, like, my play has suffered a lot this year in NASCAR, just because like it's just the content. And there's just so much going on. There's 3 or 4 races a weekend, so that's definitely been challenging for me the most. But it's like I said, it's rewarding when you have people doing well and stuff like that.
You meet somebody at a hypothetical dinner party. They ask what you do for a living. Your answer is?
I usually say sports writer, just to be very simple.
Yeah. And then if they have follow-up questions, then all of a sudden you talk about podcasting, talk about NASCAR specific and things of that sort, I imagine.
Yeah, like the other day, I was cutting the grass, and I had never talked to my neighbor, and I found out like he is the director of something to do with baseball, director of baseball at Stetson University. So like, it was cool. And like, we started talking, and like, we started talking about podcasts and stuff. And like, sport, like when you say like sports writing to him, like it opened up like an hour conversation. So, and he's like, I say neighbor, he lives like 3 or 4 houses down.
Yeah. It's funny how you can live for, 5 years next to somebody you never talked to, which is sort of weird how that works sometimes.
Right.
So you were talking about favorite player before, Griffey. Your favorite team is the Red Sox. Your dad was a Reds fan. How did the Red Sox happen for you?
So I played high school baseball, and we used to play against Bishop Moore, and Veritek played for Bishop Moore. I didn't play against him, but like, so when you played there and stuff, there was a lot of like Veritek stuff, and and it was just like, I started following his career. Love David Ortiz, love Pedroia, and just became a huge Red Sox fan. So it was easy not to be like a Marlins fan, or like I like the Rays. I've always liked the Rays, like Fred McGriff days, so I'd say I'm a Red Sox fan, maybe like a closet Rays fan. That's kind of how I started liking the Red Sox.
You got to get that Fred McGriff, Tom Emanski skills video. I'm not
Wade Boggs.
Well, back in the day, Wade Boggs, Jose Canseco, they had a couple other like veterans that just sort of like with that weird like fluorescent jersey. Getting a flashback to that Rays uniform. I actually saw Griffey hit a homer against the Rays. I remember that too. All right, just getting a flashback myself. The Red Sox, by the way, we're not optimistic about this year, are we?
No.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if you're going to try to put the lipstick on a pig, but no price, no sale, no bets.
Rebuild year, like that's happened. That's fine. I mean, this is the year to rebuild too. Like, just go ahead and do it. Oh, I found the photo of Dean and the $20 bill.
Oh no!
Yeah,
there was a photo of this.
There it is.
Yes. I must have been so angry.
Oh, Dean was so mad.
Who is your favorite all-time Red Sox and your least favorite all-time Yankee?
Oh man. All-time favorite Red Sox, probably David Ortiz. Poppy is awesome. I have a lot more like Pedroia stuff, so like jerseys and stuff like that. Least favorite Yankee. Oh man, it's close.
Who's
like, okay? So as a fan, probably Rivera, just because he was so good.
Yeah.
But as like a DFS analysis, like, and someone that loves baseball, you can't hate Rivera. He's really good. But yeah, as a fan, probably Rivera.
He's just annoying to face and he also threw like one pitch.
He's
it's like
good. He's so good. He threw a cutter and nobody can hit it.
You know what's coming. Why can't you hit it? Or just don't swing because it's just going to break off the plate. Yeah.
Step in the box with him and it's coming.
What you been watching anything with the wife? Anything you're binge watching on the Netflix or anything of sorts?
Let's see. We went back and we watched Gilmore Girls again. I have no problem saying that. I think this show's hilarious.
I did not. Gilmore Girls is a comedy? I've never seen it before. I have no idea.
It's just witty. Like, it's witty. We're currently watching a show called Dynasty. Man, we've watched a bunch of stuff. Like, trying to think what else we've watched. We watched
Dynasty
a bunch of
is
stuff.
a reboot from an 80s show.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Like it's kind of gotten a little stupid. We like the challenge. We watch a lot of that. We're
Johnny
huge
Bananas.
We're Johnny Banana fans. Yes. But like I've been watching the challenge since it started, Dean. So like being a Johnny Bananas fan has been a Johnny Bananas fan since like the days where like back in the day. So no, we've been watching a lot of stuff. I'm trying to think. We were
Is he
watching.
like 47 now? How old is Johnny Bananas?
He's
Like,
old.
How old are these guys? I haven't watched them in years. I'm aware people.
I think
still
Bananas like 42, 45, somewhere. Like I'll look it up. Griffey hit
that's his career, right?
630 home runs.
That's what he does. That's what he's Johnny Bananas for a living, I'm guessing.
He hosts a show on Johnny Bananas. It says he's 38 years old.
Oh, well, I was way off.
He hosts a show called First Look on NBC.
Okay, yeah, it's a sports show.
No, like it's like he travels around the world and like does all kinds of like things where like I haven't really watched the show. I follow him on Instagram. So
I know the Miz was born out of that too, and he turned it into a wrestling career.
Yeah,
but yeah, are they still making Real World, like the actual Real World? Is that still happening?
I don't think so. They have so many spinoffs now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I'm not sure if you're old enough to remember like the original one, like back in 1990 or something like that. Basically, one of the first reality shows, at least in America.
Yeah, Bananas was on Real World in 91 or 92. So.
Wow. Yeah. Well, there you go.
I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right. I might be wrong.
For the Miz?
No, for Bananas. It doesn't sound right.
No, he would have been like 3 in 1990.
Maybe the Real World started in 92.
That sounds about right. Yeah, in New York. You know, the first one was in New York. Second one is in L.A. and I don't know.
Did you know that Real World cast members get paid $5,000?
No,
there you go.
But like, I'm sure everybody wants to do it.
I'm sure it got it. I'm sure it increased, but
they can undercut them. They make a lot of money making for appearances, I would imagine, and like Instagram stuff, and they probably get popular on Twitter, depending on. I'm guessing it's the same way The Bachelor works, but I don't know.
I'm sure.
Well, I mean, some people, The Bachelor, I'm not sure if they're all there for the right reasons. Is that the thing they always talk about? I don't know. But well, I don't know. I've never really watched The Bachelor. There is Bachelor DFS. I haven't played.
I don't watch The Bachelor either. No, never.
Cardi's a big fan. Cardi plays Bachelor DFS. Are you aware of this?
Doesn't shock me.
If there was Real World DFS, you'd probably play it.
Oh yeah, there's FanDuel did the challenge free rolls, so I played that.
Yeah, I played. When there was like absolutely no sports going on, I was playing some weird free rolls. I think I played like WrestleMania free roll, if I'm not mistaken. There was Survivor. Survivor was fun. That's like the one reality show I watch. And
yeah, my daughter's like super into cooking shows, so.
Okay, yeah. Did she watch I guess what is it? I saw you were tweeting about it wasn't diners, drive-ins, and whatever. Triple D.
We do. Guys grocery games. My wife and I, she'll text me random aisles, and like I'll go and I'll buy ingredients off those aisles, and we make like a dinner every week, just like a random dinner every week.
So, like, yeah, and that's called the Guy Fieri grocery game, and I saw you tweeting out one of your concoctions. What's, like, the best thing you come up with and, like, the worst thing you've come up with?
My favorite was probably I did, like, this pineapple, like, chicken biscuit thing, and it was really good.
You get multiple aisles for that, I assume. That's not all the same aisle.
She gives me two aisles, and I'm allowed to buy whatever, like, meat I want.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, what if you get stuck with like the toilet paper aisle or something like that? Then
she like goes through and she like picks them out. Like, yeah, she gives me two aisles and I have to do at least two items off an aisle. So yeah, we've had some crazy ones. Like I think the one that I tweeted out was the jalapeno biscuit. So I bought this like jalapeno jelly because the aisle was impossible to find a lot of stuff off of, and like we actually eat that on like everything now. It's really good. Like we like spicy stuff. But
you discovered it. Oh yeah. Were you a fan of the hot chicken in Nashville?
I love me some hot chicken. Like that's the first stop for me when I get in Nashville, and like I eat like the hot chicken too.
Like you get it like what the cluck? Like there's hot. There's like you get what the cluck.
Yep.
Oh man, you know
I
what
like
I get?
spicy food. You
I
probably get the smallest one.
I get like it's called like original or something like that, or it's like no spice at all, no heat at all, because I'm a wimp.
They're
There's a
still
reason
good
why I
though.
have a big
They're
masculine beard and I don't. Which, by the way, I should say, I'm going to make the viewers all jealous, listeners as well, too, that are listening to the podcast. This, of course, is on YouTube as well. And we mentioned all the interviews we had earlier. Those are mostly on YouTube also. If nothing else, they're in the podcast feed. But, Stevie, I got to watch you before the show, like, comb your beard. I think that's the first time I've ever seen it before. That was something else. That was pretty impressive. I enjoyed it. Is that weird?
Yeah. No, it's not weird. It just like my beard, man, like I have to shave it more often now because my son likes to yank on it and it freaking hurts. But it's probably the longest it's been in a while, like the last couple months for sure.
Yeah, if there was no repercussions, I would definitely yank on the beard because, I mean, as a grown adult, I can't do that and get away with it. You would probably lash out at me. It's just inappropriate behavior. But as a child, I imagine you can get away with that. You don't know any better when you're like 10 months old.
Yeah, it
months
was
old.
not fun. It hurts. He gets
You
like
know what
up
else?
underneath it too. It hurts.
You know what else isn't particularly fun, Stevie? I'm kind of sort of keeping you from it right now. So you're going to the dentist like in a half hour, maybe even less. So I don't know if you're up against the clock, but yeah, that's what you got. That's in the docket today. The dentist. Good times. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I got a dentist appointment, CS:GO practice, and yeah.
You say practice. Are you on a team right now? I know you used to play like back in the day. Or are you playing with like, a bunch of dudes online or what?
Yeah, like so when all this stuff happened, we made RotoGrinders esports team for CS:GO, and there's 5 of us, and like the 4 guys that I play with are all RotoGrinders subscribers. So it kind of went together. Like we started just messing around playing, and like we started playing a lot. So we made a team. We played ESCA Open this season, and it was fun, man. Like so. I say practice. We get on for a couple hours and we play, and like the next season doesn't start until the end of August. So it's just a lot of fun. It's something to like. I play like 2 times a week, and it's just a couple hours, and it's just something to like kind of give me a break from everything that's going on.
And is it just for pride, or is there actually money in the line? Is there American dollars on the line, or what?
Yeah, if you make the playoffs and like you win and stuff, there's obviously money. Like we don't play enough to like make the playoffs. Like we went 7-9 for our first season playing together. We put the team together a day before the season started. So like we were really proud of our 7-9. What's that?
You're the Jeff Fisher of esports.
Like I had an insane round like during the season. Like I won a 4 versus 1 and like clutch aced. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, like it was a fun season. It's just like I said, it's fun to get a couple hours off a couple times a week from the pandemic, from kids, and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. Everyone needs a release. And I don't know what half those words meant, but I'm sure it all made sense to people that understand esports.
Like Dean, like if you're putting the team together and you go 7-9 and you barely miss the playoffs, like you'd be pretty happy about that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. That I understood. But you started breaking down, like you said, you won like a 4 versus 1, and you win somewhere else. For my brain just did not compute. But I'm sure esports guys get it. And are you still playing I guess you're still playing DFS CGSO.
Yeah, like I love DFS CSGO. I hope that like right now there's a thing called the players break where they take a month off of like all the top tier players take a month off. It's because they travel a lot and stuff like that during the regular season. So like right now it's a lot of like tier 2, tier 3 teams, and it kind of stinks. Like a team that's ranked 180th is beating a team ranked like 80th right now. Like it's very unpredictable right now. But yeah, when normal CS is going, like it's just fun to watch. Like my daughter likes watching League of Legends too. She like enjoys watching League of Legends. So gotten into the esports, like you said, I used to play Counter-Strike at a very high competitive level before it was cool. Back when I got hurt playing baseball. So like I know the game.
Yeah, aren't there like lake scratches in Counter-Strike sometimes too, or is that because I guess that's lineup changes, right? It's not like people actually getting injuries with the joystick or whatever.
The only reason that it would change in Counter-Strike is if like they have an internet issue. That's been the issue a couple times.
Imagine losing your GBV because they just can't get a connection and like the Wi-Fi hotspot like burnt down on somebody. And that's got to be pretty brutal.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago I finished like fourth in the $33 tournament with a 0 because the guy didn't connect because he had internet issues, and like he was their best player, so like I finished like 14 points behind, and 14 points would have been nothing for him, so it's frustrating.
Do they give him like a half-hour wiggle room, like to try to figure it out, or just like show up this time? If you can't, you can't. That's that.
They give him wiggle room, but like, stuff like that, like it had to have been bad, like it had to have been internet out in the area or something like that. Like these guys, like some of the tier 1 teams live together. So like all 5 guys live together. They have like a gaming room. They're sponsored by like Monster Energy and stuff like that. So like, these guys are used to playing like LAN tournaments where they're always traveling across the world, playing these massive tournaments and stuff. And like playing from home for these guys has been very different.
It seems like a blast, just especially if you're like 20 years old, just like playing games and just hanging out with,
yeah.
Seems like the life. Seems like good times for sure. Do you have a favorite energy drink?
Favorite energy drink.
You mentioned Monster. It just kind of popped.
It is Monster. I'm just trying to think what flavor I would consider my favorite.
Can I throw a couple your way?
Sure.
Like the light blue, like Zero, is very good. You can't find it anywhere though. And like the green one, that's kind of sort of like a tropical. That's pretty solid too. What do you have?
All right, so I'd say there's 2. The Monster Rehab Yellow, I think it's like lemonade.
I haven't tried
that. One's really good. And then like Pipeline Punch is probably my favorite. It's the pink one, full calories. That's probably my favorite.
Oh yeah, it's not a 0. I'm out. But yeah, I hear you.
Well, they have the new green apple 0 is really good too.
Okay, we'll check that one out as well.
But yeah, the Monster Rehab, lemonade, and Pipeline Punch.
Not this is your podcast, so we're not sponsored by Monster, right? Just wanted to ask the question.
No, but when you sleep like 3 or 4 hours a night, you have a favorite energy drink.
Does it really work, or is it just subliminal? I have no idea. Just a power suggestion.
I have no idea. Like I started drinking more like I hate coffee, but like I like there's a Starbucks in a can that's like like white chocolate, and I started drinking those more.
Well, because they flavor it up. It's not just coffee. They add all the nonsense. That's terrible for you. But like
my wife and I love like St. Augustine, and there's like a spice and tea store that we go to down in St. Augustine, and they have a tea, like it's called Mystic Dragon. It's like a green tea. It's really good. And they just started selling online. So like we've been drinking a lot more of that too.
St. Augustine is like this secret in Florida that people don't talk about. It's really cool. Like I don't know why it's not as popular. It should be more popular. I remember as a kid living in Florida, we had like a field trip to see like St. Augustine was one of the first cities discovered, and the Fountain of Youth, that nonsense, and which, I mean, spoiler alert, it didn't work for me. But what else? What, like the world's first jail, I think, or like the United States' first jail, not the world's obviously, but it's got all sorts of rackets.
Cities. It has like the fort from obviously like back in the day, and like a Spanish, like we got married in St. Augustine. We love St. Augustine.
Oh, okay, yeah. And so you remember like all the stores, like the stores they have, like that walking sort of that old school feel. Like that's a cool.
They have some really good restaurants in St. Augustine too. Anybody's ever traveling to St. Augustine, hit me up. I know a lot of the good restaurants.
There you go. I was there not too long ago. Probably one of the last places I went on vacation before this whole deal, and thoroughly enjoyed it as well. I don't want to keep you much longer because you have to go see the dentist. That'll be good times for sure. But I did want to say, I wanted to have you on for a couple of reasons, but definitely the transition to like, hey, you're back. Stevie's coming back on Thursday. It'll be your first podcast. I wanted to thank you for letting let me keep the seat warm here, and hopefully I didn't ruin it. Hopefully things are still okay. If it goes downhill from here, there's going to be a clear you can point to. Oh, that's the reason right there. It's Dean's fault. Blame Dean. But thanks for letting me step in here temporarily, and I just want to welcome you back. And I thought that the listeners would want to know a little bit about you that doesn't normally come up organically throughout your breakdowns of things. So a little bit more delving into the NASCAR world, and about some live finals, and I'm sure I missed on some things, and we only have so much time. But thanks, Stevie. I appreciate you joining me.
No, thanks for having me on. Thanks for filling in. Definitely appreciate it. I'm sure everyone's really appreciated just having some content and stuff to listen to. You did a lot of interviews that were really cool. Like you said, you can go back on YouTube and stuff, and they're on the Morning Grind iTunes feed as well. So, you can go back and listen to some of those, some fun interviews. I have the minor league baseball one queued up. That's my next podcast. So, yep.
Yeah, that was really good. And people probably don't know the dude's name for the Washington Nationals, but that was a lot of fun. We learned about the minor leagues. He actually pitched to robot umpires. I asked him about that, which is kind of interesting. And as a pitcher, you have a thought as far as robot umps? I'm curious.
I don't like the idea. I feel like at some point we just need to be okay with bad calls and stuff. It's a human aspect. Like if we go all robot and stuff, it's just everybody's like, oh, the robots are going to be 100%. They're not going to be 100% either. It's a human aspect of that's what makes baseball so great.
DH or no DH?
I'm not a huge fan, just so you know, because I'm not a huge fan of replay and stuff like that in basketball. And so
it's not just sports specific. It's just across the board for sports.
It's across the board. I feel like it slows down these games. It's the human aspect of the games. If you want to have replay within the last few minutes of the games and for basketball, I get it. When it could really change something, but and they don't ever get it right too. Think of the Saints play. They don't always get it right either. So if you're gonna slow down the games, at least get it right.
Yeah, my favorite is pass interference in the NFL.
Oh gosh, such a bad review. Anyone that throws a challenge trying to challenge that is just wasting a timeout.
Stevie, it's been a lot of fun. I much appreciate you joining me. You'll be back here doing your regular podcast Thursday. That said, I'll be back tomorrow. The next, I guess I got to play out the string. I'm a lame duck host. I'll be here for the next two, and then Steve will be taking over for some MLB content, which will be good times for sure. Opening night, I believe there's $1 million contest on both FanDuel and on DK, a 2-gamer, and then of course on Friday, the schedule fully opens up. Basically, everybody plays with the exception of those teams that play on Thursday nights. That said, he was Stevie. I was Dean. This was the Morning Grind. We're out of here. Holler.